everybody, Andrew Champagne here on our monthly Burlington Democrats and Beyond, our monthly show. Let's see how my sweater is. Looks okay? Hey, I'm sorry, last month I had COVID-like symptoms the day my show was going to tape. And so with the new paragonum, the new protocols, I didn't make it. It was actually a slow month. So we have a lot to talk about today. I am going to be on for the next 35 minutes. I possibly might have a surprise guest. I hope they come. But we got a lot going on in Burlington. Since I last spoke to you last, Mayor Murrow Weinberger has announced that he is not going to run again for a fifth term. So he has been mayor of Burlington. There he is. Good picture, too. He's been mayor of Burlington for 12 years. I think the world of him. He has been an outstanding mayor. I was fortunate enough that he asked me to swear him in for his second term, which was a thrill, kind of nerve-wracking in front of a packed Contois auditorium. But I think the mayor's exploring some other options. He's exploring, I personally would like to see him working in the Biden administration. He's got a lot of experience working with the federal government. He's a Harvard Kennedy School graduate. And also, he's taking a long look at the governor's race. We have a Republican governor in a very Democratic state. Now, Governor Scott is a moderate. He is also the most popular governor in Vermont. He's the only governor in Vermont, but he's the most popular governor in America. He has a 76% approval rating. There he is. We don't want to keep him up there too long because he is on the other side, but he's a highly decent, honest, good man. A little too conservative for my taste. I'd like to see a little bit more activism from him since he does have a mandate. He got over 75% of the vote. We were only able to get about 20%. So just to put things in perspective, he's very popular. Now, he is not your standard politician. He does not need the limelight. He's kind of a reticent, kind of a shy guy. And I think sometimes, there's Murrow, but we're talking about Governor Scott. And I think sometimes the trappings and the kind of sometimes all the stuff that goes with being governor is a little much. And he also likes to drive his own car because he's a race car driver. So we'll see. I do think he'll run again, but I think this will be his last term. If he runs again, the odds are very strong that he wins. He's been called by President Biden his favorite Republican governor. And, he's kind of stay above the fray. But, Gov, I need you in Burlington. We just had a triple murder here. People executed, shot in the head. Right just a few blocks from here. We need, the number one issue is public safety on this mayoral campaign. Any help that the state could do to help us. Unfortunately, with fentanyl and crack cocaine and all sorts of pills and powders, that they come with violence because it's a rough trade. And unfortunately, we see two pretty young people murdered, executed, just a couple blocks from here, and a really quiet street, Decatur Street, wonderful street, full of families and cool people, old hippies. They must be very frightened. So public safety is going to be an enormous part of this campaign. Now, the progressives voted to, bring down the police force by a third. It sounds so crazy when we say that. We were going through a pandemic. We were going through a pandemic and an epidemic of narcotics and a pandemic of 100-year magnitude of COVID. And somebody got the bright idea that we should eliminate a third of our policemen. Now, obviously, tensions were running high because Mr. Floyd was murdered on television, literally, by a policeman. And that was a terrible, terrible thing. And that was not right. And that was a wrong that has not gone away. And we see in American history how African Americans are often treated differently by the police. That is not right. That cannot stand. And so after his murder, there was a reaction, against the police. And I understand that. I couldn't watch more than a second of that. That man was lynched, basically, on television, on Facebook. And so there was a lot of emotions, and people felt that the police were the enemy. Bad cops are always the enemy. Policemen that don't care about people or trod on their civil rights or are prejudicial because of the color of their skin or their sexuality or their country of origin are wrong and don't deserve to be on the force. Obviously, we need more police that look like our demographic. Okay, I'm still waiting for the first Bosnian policeman. I'm still waiting for the first African policeman that can speak Swahili and French, the language of the African immigrants. I'm still waiting for some LGBTQ policemen. I need the police to represent who they are helping out. And this crazy where policemen go from National Guard to the Army to prison to being a policeman, it's kind of got to end. I think a big job of the police is being a social worker, someone you can talk to. So I'm glad Chief Murad has been confirmed. Hope he can keep his temper in check a little bit. He sometimes gets a little bit emotional, but it's a tough job. So I like him. Chief, congratulations. You're a good man. I'm sorry, someone's speaking out by the cameras, and I can't have that. I can't hear. Okay, thank you. My cameraman, they're trying to do instructions, and it's just too hard to hear and talk at the same time. So public safety is going to be a huge part of this campaign. We have 3 candidates so far on the Democratic side. We have, I don't know if we've got any pictures, maybe we can work on this for next month. We have Councilor Joan Shannon of the South End. There he is. Hey, that's a nice picture. She's a good friend of mine. We served together on a tax appeal. Her husband or her daughter are wonderful friends. She's great. And then also we have Council President Karen Paul, another awesome person. Hi, Karen. Looks like you're at a city council meeting there. I'm friends with her family, her kids, her husband. And then we have a new addition just yesterday. We have Miss C.D. Maxson, who joined the race. Good for you, C.D. Cares a lot about people, social activist. There was rumors that she was going to run as an independent, but she has thrown her name in the fray as a Democrat. Congratulations, CD. I always say, anybody can run. Anyone watching this can run. You can run as an independent. You can run as a Republican or Prague. You can run on the Green Party. You can run as a Democrat. Now, also, on the progressive side, there's a tough challenger, someone who's very qualified and a good person, and that is Representative Emma Mulvaney Stanek. I don't know if we have her picture. She represents the Old North End, lives off North Street with her wife and kids, former city councilor in Wards 2 and 3, very much interested in policy, very much a union person, very, very much a progressive, very, very liberal, forward-thinking progressive. I don't know if we have Emma's picture up there. Maybe we can find it, Kevin. Why I asked that, I want to say hello to my executive producer, Jordan Mitchell. Thank you, Jordan. I'd also like to congratulate and thank Ms. Megan O'Rourke, who is now the head of Town Meeting Television, upon the retirement of just a fantastic person, Miss Lauren Glendavidian, who helped me get this show and has always been a constant source of inspiration. She's just an amazing person. And, okay, we're changing over in the cameras here. Ms. Davidian, I wish you luck in retirement. I know you're still involved with the station. And so while I'm here, I would like to thank, again, Jordan Mitchell, my executive producer, my producer, Mr. Kevin, my cameraman, Daniel, there you are. I'm confused here. You're doing too many angles on me, too many cameras. I thought we were staying with this camera. And okay, thank you.
Because we got a guest coming up.
Okay, yeah. we hope we're having a guest coming on.
He's here now.
Oh, he's here. Adam, come on in. You can't see anything in the dark with the light. Okay, without further ado, my great friend, my good buddy, former city councilor, chair of the Democratic Committee in Burlington, Mr. Adam Roof. I called you at 10 after 5 and you came. I love you, brother.
You did. You know, you gave me a call. You said, I'm going on air. Can you come down and talk a little bit about the caucus we've got coming up and anything else? So I said, you know what? Yeah, I haven't been a chance to do this with you in a long time, so here I am. You call, I come running. You know the deal.
Okay, I cannot hear when there's people speaking behind the camera, okay? I'm sorry. We can't do this with talk up here. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm sorry,
Okay, thank you. It's hard with the lights and people are talking. I apologize. You got me, okay, I will be honest with you. Without you, I would not be here. You got me doing this show. I think you pawned it off on me.
I wouldn't qualify it as a pawn off, but I'm very lucky that you make the time each and every month.
Boy, the money I get for this show is just so crazy.
But
no, I love it. Adam used to do this show a lot when he was on city council, and he was a great city councilor. Were you in Ward 8 or were you 1 and 8?
I was Ward 8.
Yeah, Ward 8, that's right. 2-term city councilor, UVM alumni, UVM Honor Society, member of the executive committee, chair of the Burlington Dems. Okay, my friend.
Yes.
Let's talk about the caucus. The caucus, honestly, it's the first competitive caucus in 12 years. Right. 12 years ago, how old were you? 23, 24?
A little younger, actually.
Yeah.
A little bit younger.
So, you think about that. It's a long time. What I think about with Moreau is if someone was in first grade, they're now headed towards doing their college applications.
There you go. Yeah.
We need to put another picture of Moreau up there because we love him. We think he's been an outstanding mayor. And so as I spoke about before you were here, Adam, I see the mayor doing a couple things. He is strongly considering a gubernatorial run. We do know that we have a very popular incumbent. I've also suggested to him, and I think it's a goal, and I'd also like to see you do this too. I'd like to see you work in the White House. I'd like to see you work in administration. I would. And you're one of our best. So I talked a little bit about Joan, Karen, and CD. 3 high-quality people, 3 people who've lived in Burlington for many, many years, who are well-known.
Sure.
Let's do brass tacks on the caucus. The caucus is, and maybe is there any way we can type this in? Democratic Caucus, December 10th, Edmonds School, 1:30 p.m.? I don't know. See, usually
1 p.m.
Oh, 1 p.m. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you, when I did the show, I didn't have such command over the entire studio like you do, Andrew. But I'm happy to talk a little bit about the caucus.
I got a great crew here.
They're amazing. They really are. And I love coming down and talking. Want me to talk about the caucus a little bit?
Let's do it, man.
And maybe I could also talk about, because we also, not just the mayoral elections coming up, but we also have 8 city council seats that are open, which the Democratic Party has been working hard on recruiting candidates. So maybe I can talk about.
Let's do that through 1 through 8. Let's talk about city council.
Want me to start there?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. I've been told, I don't have this official, that Councilor Zariah Hightower has decided not to run. Now, everyone has till January 30th to get their petitions in, so someone can change their mind. If anyone watching this wants to run, you can run. You have till January 30th. If you want to be part of a party, you have to get some signatures. I think 30 or is 50 for city council?
Well, the petitions to get on the ballot are 30 signatures, regardless of if you're an independent or if you're a member of a party.
Oh, so you need 30 to run?
That's right. So in order to run with a party designation, whether it be the Progressive or the Democratic Party,
which is very helpful.
Yes, and there's advantages to it. Certainly, there is a deadline to you have to participate in the caucus, and you have to win the caucus in order to get that party nomination. Now, the deadline for Democratic candidates to inform the party that they want to be considered for nomination at the December 10th caucus is November 30th.
Okay.
So by November 30th, if someone wants to run,
a little more than 2 weeks away.
A little more than 2 weeks from now, if you want to run. In the caucus, you have to inform the party, and if you go to our website, btvdems.org, you can easily find all the instructions on how to do this. And the great news is that we have candidates.
Let's please say that again.
BTV Dems.
Okay, BTV. Okay, excuse me.
BTVdems.org.
Okay.
And you'll find all the information that you'll need if you want to participate in the caucus. Now, in addition to mayor and city council, we also have ward clerks and inspectors of election.
Right.
That we also will be nominating. Which we also, you can be considered for those positions as well.
Now, just one thing before we go. There has been some changes in the wards. Now, for example, for 20 plus years, I was in Ward 2. Because they were trying to move the students around and make it a more equitable block, I am now in Ward 3. I will be running for Inspector of Elections. So a lot of folks are in 3 are now in 2. A lot of folks in 2 are in 3. I think there was some bleedage with 8 and 3, and then some in the south end. Is that correct?
Yeah, there was, so the redistricting process requires that every 10 years or so, the city goes through and reworks the lines of each ward so that you can fall into the acceptable number of people that live in each ward. It has to do with proportional representation.
Oh, yes.
And so there was some movement, and I can see here on the screen the website, and if you go, we have a little rotating carousel. That right there is the information that you'll need for the town meeting day.
Thank you so much.
2024. So that's helpful. Thank you for the team to putting that up so quickly.
Now, I want to just tell a story about the caucus 12 years ago.
Sure.
It was at Memorial Auditorium. It was packed. And we had a kind of unknown candidate at that time, Moreau Weinberger.
Yeah.
I didn't meet him till the caucus. I remember thinking, who? Moreau, who? And then we had State Senator Tim Ash. And it was two good candidates, two smart guys, both Kennedy School, both on the ball. And it's unbelievable. We had 2 votes, and they tied to the exact vote. Something like 820 to 820.
Yep.
And we counted again, and it was 820 to 820. And it was shocking. So we had to come back 2 weeks later. And about 2/3 of the people came back. And this is before virtual, before Zoom, and Moreau was able to pull away. But it was a caucus with 1,600 people,
Yeah.
and they tied at them. So we see, for example, Bernie Sanders won his first race for mayor by 11 votes. Now, you've won close ones, you've lost close ones. So I know it's a cliche, like nationally say every vote counts, but in Burlington,
Yeah.
every vote counts. So this caucus will take place at 1 o'clock at Edmonds. Now, can people, if they're registered to vote, do they have to sign up beforehand? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'll talk a little bit about the registration process and also what the caucus will look like, because this year, like in years past, we will be offering both an opportunity to participate and vote in person as well as virtually.
Excellent.
So we coming after the pandemic, we've found that this is a really effective way to improve access to the ballot. And so we do want to have that virtual option.
The only good things that came out of COVID was Zoom.
One of the few certainly. So the caucus will kick off at 1 p.m. The in-person option is at Edmonds Middle School. And we'll have a Zoom presentation as well. We'll also hopefully be streaming it here at Town Meeting TV as well on their YouTube channel.
Now, also, I remember we usually try to have a little bit of a meal there. Are we going to do that again? Try?
Yeah, so
we can get some funding.
I'd like to get some food there. I mean, for the potential that there might be multiple votes, like there was in 2012. So it could be, maybe not a long night, but it might be enough time where people might get a little bit hungry. So at very least, I'll have some snacks and refreshments there for everyone.
Now, the parking is free, and it's in the back of Edmonds because that's sometimes difficult. Now, we're also hoping to have a translator doing sign. I hope we'll work on that. We're also, what's interesting for the virtual, for example, if you have trouble getting around, or you're feeling sick, or you got to take care of your kids, or you got to be somewhere, you can be virtual and your vote counts just the same.
Of course.
Now, for example, 12 years ago, you had to show. So we see how technology is helping the process. So 1 o'clock at Edmonds now what day is that? It's December 10th, but what, is it Sunday?
That's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday. I will be there. We will have people checking you in. It's going to be easy. It's going to be fun. And then what we will do is we will break into wards to work on council candidates, on inspectors of election.
That's right.
Adam, in your opinion, it's early. What are we going to have for ballot items on the Burlington ballot? What do you think?
It's too early to tell.
Okay.
We're not sure yet. Well, I think the time, really now, towards the end of the year, into the new year, that'll come more into focus. And so right now, the main focus of the Burlington Democratic Party is putting on a an awesome caucus that's accessible and people are going to be
fun
and people are going to have confidence in. And then also recruiting candidates and making sure that we have from top to bottom, from the mayor's office all the way down the ballot, that we have great candidates of folks that want to step up and serve the community.
I'll give you an example. I am the inspector in Ward 2. I am now in Ward 3. The inspectors in Ward 3 are now in Ward 2. So we're like, they're running for my job, I'm running for theirs.
That's right. I do want to take a note because we did touch quickly on redistricting, and so this is one thing that we have seen through the registration process, that people reach out and say, "Did I get redistricted into a different?"
And you might have.
Into a different word, and you might have, and so we do have on the Burlington Democratic website and the registration form that you need to fill out to participate in the caucus. A place where you can look up, you can punch in your address, and it will tell you what ward you're in. Now, so it's important to check. Now, the party will also go through a process of checking. So if someone...
We're going to get a good map there, too.
We're going to get a good map. And so if someone identifies in Ward 3 and then we realize that they're in Ward 2, we're going to let people know. And that's...
Now,
go ahead.
Okay, you know what's interesting? For example, North Willard Street, if you're on the odd side, you're in 2.
Yep.
If you're on the even side, you're in 1.
Yep.
Now, the wards have to be within 10%. They all have to have 10. They can't be off by more than 10%. Is that right, basically? So that's why you have to. We've had growth like a Redstone.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's usually what causes a redistricting. Redistricting actually is a process that is a result of the U.S. Census. And so after the U.S. Census happens and every community across the country gets that information back, they have to go through a redistricting process. And you have to draw the line somewhere. And so, yeah, there are some examples where the yellow line in the middle of the road is the dividing line.
It's not easy.
Which can be confusing, but it's part of parties as well as government to help inform people about where to learn about what ward they are in, to make sure that they're going to the right polling location, that they're participating in the caucus in the right ward, all of those sorts of things.
Now, one of the reasons that we have to do redistricting by law, but some of the reasons there were the changes was we've had a lot of housing. Under Mayor Weinberger, I think we've built over 1,000 units of housing.
Yeah.
And we have a lot more to come. I also see City Place. I can see it's going up day by day. So we finally got a good tenant there in Mr. Farrell and Mr. Ireland. And so that's why there's redistricting. Now, as I said, I was in Ward 2 for 20-something years. Yep. I'm over in Ward 3 now. So, Adam, let's do Council 1 through 8 and let's break it down. In Ward 1, we have Ms. Hightower, who has said she's not running, but you know, people can change their mind. You know, she's a strong advocate for the Progs. And so there will be pressure from the liberals and progressives to have her run. But she has said she's not running.
So yeah, my understanding is that Councilor Hightower has decided not to run again. I want to take a moment to thank her for her service. We worked together for a number of years on the city council.
Cares about Burlington.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very intelligent, very passionate.
Yeah, and so my understanding is that she is not running, and there has been a candidate that stepped forward on the progressive side, and we're currently working through. There's a number of interested candidates in Ward 1 that we've been talking to, and so we're pretty close, we think, to having someone officially announce their intent to run as a Democrat for Ward 1.
Now, as a passionate Democrat, I will tell you, I've got to tell you the honest truth. I admire the progressives, how they work during town meeting. They have their candidates out there 6 days a week, and not just their candidate, several people with them. And you do that for 6 weeks, man.
Sure.
You're cooking with gas.
I know, well, we've done it together for about a decade, I think, here.
Yeah, you and I.
You and I.
Ran some good races. We lost you know, Adam took one for the team. When he lost his race, it was a tough time in the city. It was a tough time for Moreau. He stood up for the mayor. And, you know, you did a profile in courage, man. And you took one for the team. How do you enjoy, okay, you were on the council. That's very much minutia. How do you enjoy being chair? How do you enjoy all 8 wards, talking to people all the way from North Avenue to Pine Street? You dig it? You seem to.
No, I enjoy it. I mean, I think it was a good transition for me. I got to serve 5 years on the city council,
right.
And then lost my election in 2020, right before the pandemic, which actually ended up being a blessing in disguise for me because it was a really difficult time for the council to help the city navigate all of that. Would have loved to have been involved with it, but it was also a nice break after 5 very long years on the city council. Taking over the Democratic Party, it was, like I said, a good transition. I've been doing a lot of election management across the city, anyways. Before
It's your passion.
One of the shared passions that we have. But I do want to talk more about, because we got to Ward 1.
Okay, we'll go back. But I forgot to say one thing.
Yeah.
Adam was elected unanimously to his third term as chair. Is that correct?
That's right.
This guy is on the ball. This guy cares. This guy helps coordinates all the activities, the lit drops, the phone calls, the advertising, the social media, everyone's going to laugh, the honking waves. How many times this guy's called me on a cold night and said, hey, we're going to do a honking wave? But those little things get you elected. Okay,
you're being too kind. I'm not paying
No, I'm
him
a
for
kind
any of
person.
this.
And you showed up here. I called you at 10 after 5. Okay, so I'm going to edit myself. Andrew, stay on the ball here, 1 through 8. Ms. Hightower is not running.
That's
the
Ward
Progs
1.
have a candidate in 1. We will have a very strong candidate. So that's Ward 1.
Ward 1.
Let's talk about Ward 2. I assume that Gene Bergman is going to run again. Longtime Prog.
We'll go in order. Gene Bergman has been on the city council now for his first full term. We have an 8-ward strategy, so we're always looking to run in every single ward. The Progressives have been very successful in Ward 2 for a very long time, but that doesn't mean that we're going to give up on advocating for what we believe is the best for Burlington in that ward. And we do have at least one person right now, a second person on the ball, on the edge right now, who's thinking about running in Ward 2. Now, Ward 3, much like Councillor Hightower, Councillor McGee has also indicated that that they won't be running again, and so we want to also be competitive in Ward 3. We've got also a number of people who are very interested in that.
I better give a shout out to Joe McGee. Now, he and I disagree on policy, but we worked pretty closely on Peter Welch's campaign. He's an outstanding guy with an unlimited future. Now, what I've heard through the grapevine is that he will be Emma's campaign manager. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I haven't been tracking that.
Now, my personal opinion with Joe is, I think what he is thinking is, if Emma is successful, that he would try for her legislative seat. That's my personal belief. Emma is a member of the General Assembly, and so if she did win, usually the protocol is that you resign your seat. Okay, so Joe is in 3. Now, 3 has had a radical change in its voting. It's going to have a lot more students. It's going to be up where I am, closer to like Pearl Street and Willard Street. So we got a shot there. Let's talk about Ward 4. We're going to go up to the New North End now. What do we got up there?
So in Ward 4, Councillor Carpenter has let us know that she'll be running again.
Excellent.
Yep. And so in Ward 7, across the street in Ward 7, Councillor Dang has indicated that he won't be running again, and there are candidates that are stepping forward.
Better thank Ali. He's a good man. He cares about people. And just for anyone knows, we're taking a little break here. The council, they meet, but they also have hours and hours of work. Sometimes they're on the Board of Finance. Sometimes they have constituent needs, and their salary is $5,000. So it's nothing. There's a lot of work that comes to it. So Councillor Jang is not going to run again, former mayoral candidate, good guy, cares about people, always watching out for people in the North End. So do we have a candidate there, or just can't quite name that person yet?
Actually, that candidate has let me know that we can share their name publicly. There's actually 2 of them. There's Evan Litwin as well as Lee Morgan.
Oh, good, excellent.
And Lee has also indicated that they'll be looking to earn the Progressive nomination as well. So that race is starting to take shape up there. And like I always make a point to do, I want to thank Councillor Dang for his service on the city council as well.
Man.
Got to
That's my
work
friend.
with him for a few years as well. So
he calls me the voting man.
You are
Mr. Democrat too. You know, the New North End votes at the highest percentage, and you know they had leaders up there for many years, like Mr. Hartnett, like Mr. Wright, and there'll be a spirited campaign up there.
Sure.
There might even be an independent up there who's maybe a little bit more conservative. Okay, so let's see. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. So we have 5 and 6. The South End. Now
don't forget Ward 8.
Oh, okay, of course.
Don't
My
forget.
goodness, Hannah. Is Miss Paul going to run for council again, or is she? What's her situation?
So as of right now, Council President Paul is seeking the Democratic nomination for mayor. which does open up her seat, which she's long held in Ward 6. And
20 years.
And there are a number of people who are interested in that seat as well, and I think we're getting close to some public announcements for the council seats in Ward 6. That brings us to
Ben.
That brings us to Ben Travers, Councilor Travers. He's in Ward 5. I expect he's going to be running again. And
He told me he is running again.
yeah, he is running again. I don't expect there to be any challenges, but anyone could step up between now and then to run in the Democratic caucus, and he might have someone in the March election.
Okay, so really, really quickly. Ward 1, Zariah is retiring. It's going to be a competitive race. Ward 2, Gene Bergman is running again. We're hoping to find a good candidate. Ward 3, Councilor McGee is not running. That's going to be a very competitive race. Ward 4, Sarah Carpenter's going to run, and I believe that will be a very easy race for her. Ward 7 will be a competitive race. Ward 5 will be competitive, and then we have Ben Travers in 6. And I saved the queen, Miss Hannah King. I don't know if we have a picture of her, Councilor King, a great friend. Adam was her campaign manager, and there she is. That's a great picture. She has worked so hard. Ward 8 is almost exclusively students. So she has had to do a lot of work, town and gown, like you did in Ward 8.
Sure.
Hannah probably will face a challenge. Oh, there she is, right outside the library. And I think she'll win. I'll be working hard on her campaign. She's one of our bright young faces and a wonderful person, working hard and cares about people. And, she's not just your middle-of-the-road Democrat. She brings a lot of progressive leanings and some of the new parallels and stuff going on. So we have 3 minutes. I'm just going to do my quick COVID wrap. COVID is not over. Please get your shots. If you have questions about COVID, if you have questions about 3 Squares, if you have questions about Health Connect, if you have questions, let's say you're having some troubles, you're having some substance abuse, you're having depression, you need a helping hand, please call 211. That is the state number. Yep. We have 2 minutes left. I am going to do a symbolic taking off of the microphone, and I'm going to let you take it out. You're a good brother. You got 2 minutes.
I got 2 minutes. My goodness. Thank you, Andrew, for everything that you do. And how many people have you registered to vote in your career?
1,735.
1,735. That's pretty incredible.
And I'm doing I don't have a mic on. I'm doing a voter reg at Higher Ground tonight for Miss Molly Tuttle, a big bluegrass star. So
if you're watching at home and got nothing to do tonight, go and hang out with Andrew at Higher Ground and bring some friends to register to vote. But in the last minute and a half here, I just want to again summarize what we've got going on for the Democratic caucus. Again, the date is Sunday, December 10th. The caucus will kick off at 1 p.m. The in-person aspect, we're going to be having both in-person and virtual voting. We do have space constrictions at Edmonds. We don't have a Memorial Auditorium or a Burlington High School auditorium anymore. And so I do want to encourage people to use the virtual option if there's an accessibility issue or any other special reason that you need to be in person. By all means, come and we'll welcome you. But we do have a space limitation. So just a note for folks at home, it might be good to use the virtual option. There'll be ways to watch and participate virtually. And we've got space for about 400 people in Edmonds. Now we're going to be nominating not just the mayoral candidates, but also council candidates across all 8 wards, as well as inspector of elections and ward clerks. You can register to vote in the caucus online. That's btvdems.org. And you can go navigate to the registration page. What you'll do is fill out that form. We will then confirm your eligibility that you're a registered voter in Burlington. You'll get additional information from us leading up until the caucus. We already have over 300 people who have registered for the caucus, and we're still weeks away. I fully anticipate that we'll be well over 1,000 in no time.
Now, Adam, they can't hear me. What if someone doesn't use a computer? What if someone's older? What can they do?
Sure. So if you don't have a computer or access to internet, you can absolutely participate in person. We ask that you register beforehand, but we will have same-day registration for those who want to vote in person. To vote online, your registration timeline, or deadline rather, is the night prior, December 9th. So I think we're at time now, so I'll wrap up. I want to thank you, Andrew, and the entire team here at Town Meeting TV. It's good to be back. We'll have to do this again sometime real soon. And Andrew's pointing at me and waving. All right, thank you, everyone at home. Have a good one.